Got Hudson, New York, Lincoln, Alabama, Dallas, Texas, Suffern, New York. So happy you guys could join us this evening. Birmingham, all right. Look like Cherise got us all set with streaming. Thank you very much for that, ma'am. And we will be ready to go here in about 2 minutes. Ermel, you said you emailed last week's guests? Last week's guest here on a Monday session or on a Tuesday session? Maybe we could help you follow up with them on a Monday session. We'll see if we can give a gentle nudge for you.
Oh, put my lights on. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello, everybody. You're all dolled up today, Tawana. I love it. Today.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. I hope everyone is doing well today. We're going to actually get started on time, and there is no guest tonight. You know, once a month we come and we do equity crowdfunding training. And tonight's topic is, might seem kind of boring, but we're still going to jazz it up. It's very important as we're doing our Bet on Black pitches that we all know what we're looking at, some of the things we want to look for. And tonight we are going to actually review the Form C. And, you know, it'll still, like we said, be fun. We're going to review it for 2 of our active campaigns. So if you're not a member, you get a kind of sneak peek into some of the fabulous Bet on Black pitch founders that we have. And yeah, I see Los Angeles in the house and Harlem in the building. So hello, everybody. Okay, so it's 6 o'clock on the dot. Let me hit the record button here because I do want to record this. Okay, everybody, welcome to the 10K Project. We are the largest community of investors who actively fund Black-owned businesses. Minimum investment is $100 oftentimes, and we participate in something called equity crowdfunding. So today what I'm going to do is kind of go through a little bit of what equity crowdfunding is. Y'all know I have my little quick, I'm trying to chisel it down to 5 minutes. I'm working really hard to do that. Chisel down to my first 5 minutes of like talking to you about what equity crowdfunding is, how we invest. I toss it over to Tawana. She shares more information with you. And then we are going to jump into the topic of the day. So let's see here. So really quickly, for anybody who is new, or maybe received information just saying, hey, you should come and check out this 10K project group, and you're asking, you know, who are these people? Well, we invest in Black businesses. Overall, that is what we do. And how do we do it? We participate in something called equity crowdfunding. Now, crowdfunding is not new to the Black community. It's basically when a whole bunch of people get together, put in small amounts of dollars in order to fund something specific. So I always talk about the building fund. That's one of my favorite examples. If you ever grew up in the Black church, pastor would get up. He said, we need $10,000 for a roof. He passes around the special offering plate. Next thing you know, The church has raised this $10,000 and the church has a new roof. Well, with equity crowdfunding, we're able to do that, except we're able to invest in businesses. And specifically within the 10K project, we use this method to invest in Black-owned businesses. So how does equity crowdfunding work at the 10K project? It's super simple. An entrepreneur can decide that they will raise anywhere from $10,000 to $5 million. Equity crowdfunding is governed by the Securities and Exchange Commission and FINRA. FINRA stands for the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority. So once an entrepreneur says that they want to raise money this way, they go through the SEC and FINRA, they get the check marks and the approvals, and they have a live campaign, then they contact an organization like the 10K Project. And every week we feature a Black-owned business that is raising capital. We invite them Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time to do something called a Bet on Black pitch. It's similar to a Shark Tank style pitch, except it's a lot friendlier. The entrepreneur, from 15 to 30 minutes, they talk about their business, who their market is, how they're marketing their product or service, who's on their team, what's their exit plan, etc. And then we, as the community, gets to ask that entrepreneur questions. Tawana leads it. She doesn't leave until all the questions are answered. And then you, as an individual investor, gets to review the business plan, the campaign page, you get to research the business, and you as an individual gets to decide if you want to invest in that business. And the whole idea is for you as an investor to build a portfolio of businesses that you've invested in. Then if the company makes it big, the crowd of investors get to share in the profits. But if not, investors only lose what they have put into the company. And the 10K project got its name because if 10,000 of us came together, we each put in $100, that's $1 million. We can start funding our own companies, profiting from our own innovation, creating jobs, and working together to build Black wealth. So we have an ecosystem that we're building. The first part of the entrepreneurs that are raising anywhere from 10,000 to 5 million. The second part are investors that are investing anywhere from $100 or more into a business that they want to help fund. And then our third group of people are experts. So imagine if we raise $1 million for a business. Oftentimes, the entrepreneur is looking for people to hire, whether they're full-time, part-time, contract labor. They may need anybody from project managers to digital marketers to construction people to anybody that's out there. Instead of that money leaving the community, we asked ourselves, how can we have that dollar circulate longer in the community? So we have an expert directory. Any member of the 10K project can add themselves into the expert directory. It doesn't matter what skill you have. It doesn't matter if you have a part-time business, if you could be on somebody's board, whatever it is that you're able to do to help these entrepreneurs grow. And by doing this, we are able to circulate the Black dollar longer in the community, and we can work together to build Black wealth. So I'm going to toss it over to Tawana now, who is going to explain our membership structure to everybody. You're on mute.
Sorry about that. This is something that's actually getting ready to change. So we'll only be sharing this information for maybe the next 1 or 2 weeks. We're on the countdown, but currently we've got 2 membership packages. One is the gold membership package. It gives you access to our Bet on Black pitches that Cherie talked about, gives you access to all of the wealth building webinars and education sessions, as well as access to all of the professionals that we bring and the experts that we bring here to talk to you and to teach you how to gain wealth. Also gives you access to using the expert directory. And I highly, highly encourage everyone, if you are already a member, please go ahead and put your information in the expert directory. We've had several founders now ask if we've had certain specialties in our community. And so I don't want any of you to miss anything. A lot of the founders that we've had these last 3 weeks have just been starting out, and they're looking to build pretty much entire teams. So please, please, please put your specialty or your expertise in the directory. You get all of that for $100 lifetime membership fee. That is a one-time payment of $100. And I'm going to sit here for a minute with that because this is one of the packages that's going to change. This is getting ready to be a recurring membership subscription. For those of you who are already members, I believe you will agree, and if you do or don't, please put it in the chat, but I believe you agree that the information that we provide to you week after week, month after month, now for going on 2 years, is very substantial and very helpful. And not all of it is, something you're interested in, but not all of it is something everyone's interested in, right? Because we all have varied interests and varied desires, but we give such a variety of wealth building education and bring such a variety of guests here. We believe that a subscription model is best suited for this business model. And so this $100 one-time lifetime fee is getting ready to go away. I think we need to figure out how to do like a countdown clock on the Facebook page because it's getting ready to go away. Cherie and I actually meet tomorrow afternoon to see the final walkthrough with the developer that was working on this and changing the payment model. And so, after we have that meeting, if everything's okay, we will be starting to announce that there's only 10 days left to get it at the one-time fee. So I'll say that and leave that there. So if you're interested, now's the time to join the10kproject.com. The platinum membership, that price will increase, but that will continue to be, for now, a one-time membership fee of $347. It includes everything that comes with the gold package, but it also includes 6 months of financial planning. We've partnered with an amazing partner, Freeman Capital, and they are a Black-owned financial planning firm, and they provide the financial planning. We've got several members who have gone through that. Our members rave about Freeman Capital, and Freeman Capital raves about us. So it is a partnership that is very, very well maintained, and we appreciate them because they are definitely making our members or helping our members to become more financially healthy, which is the first step, I believe, before you actually get to the wealthy, right? So with that said, I will talk about one more thing. We also, with the Bet on Black Pitches, we have an incentive program going on right now where we are encouraging you all who are members to come to those sessions live. Having more of us there live just really allows the entrepreneur that's pitching to us that particular week to really have the engagement that he or she deserves. It allows for the engaging conversation. It allows for them to have a variety of questions and answers. And it also increases the odds that one of you are specialists in that industry also. And that's always very cool when that happens because we really get more detailed questions that are more industry-based versus just overarching investment questions. And so I'm always in awe when one of us is the expert in attendance. So that incentive is if you come, or for every time you come live, your name goes into the drawing. And then on the Tuesday, the first Tuesday of the month, we give the drawing for who attended live the previous month. And you get to choose either $100 cash or, and let me rephrase that. We have been sending gift cards. So I don't want to say cash and you expect like $100 bill in the mail. So we've been giving gift cards. It's typically like Amazon gift card. If you want a Visa gift card, we can figure that out as well. It's been a $100 gift card or a free $347 platinum upgrade or membership. It actually would be an upgrade because all of the people here would already be members. So it's a $247 value because currently, if you are a member and you upgrade, if you're a gold member and you upgrade to the platinum, then you would get, you'd only pay the difference, the $247. So with that said, I think, We'd love to have you if you haven't already decided to join. If you've been sitting on the fence for a little bit, you've got about 2 weeks to decide, right? If you want to come over. I'd hate for those of you who have been riding with us from the beginning to have to pay the subscription price, and you've been here to see the value already. So now may be the time to come on over and get the full benefit, because what you're getting right now is just little tastes here and there, right? We've got member only sessions that you don't get invited to if you're not a member, and they are equally, if not even more, advantageous to the wealth journey. So with that said, Cherie, I'll turn it back over to you. We can start our presentation and get this education party going today.
Yeah, Beulah's asking a question, but I need you to rephrase it, Beulah, please. We want to make sure we understand your question. I also want to say hello to Latrice in YouTube, and we also have Barrett from Alabama in Facebook. So hello to you. Yeah, Beulah, just rephrase your question for me. I also want to make sure that everyone is getting your emails with regards to our members only upcoming events that's happening. Tomorrow night, we're having Nadja Roberts come to talk about how to buy and protect your crypto. The next week, we are having a session on buying your first home. And then the following week, we're having a session on the top 7 tax mistakes people make when buying real estate. The following week, we having a session on starting a business and getting your first 10 clients. And then the week after that, dividend stock investing. These are all members only sessions. So that's another reason for you to come in and participate in that one-time payment. And also, it's escaping. Sorry.
I think I know Beulah, so see if that pops back in your head, but I think I understand Beulah's question. And I was looking at when she asked it, what I was saying at the time. I think she's asking about the platinum package. And right now you get credit for being a gold member and you just pay the difference. Well, Beulah, and when we change the fee structure of the gold plan, that is you're going to be paying monthly, right? So in essence, you are paying a monthly fee for that month's content, right? And so if you go to upgrade to the platinum package, you will be paying the full $347 because you would have already paid for your monthly subscription, and now the content would be a go forward basis. So I hope I explained that in a way that you can understand it. But the bottom line is, if you are also a member who is a gold package holder and you've been wanting to upgrade to the platinum package, now is the time for you as well to get it at the $247, because that for anyone new who goes from the subscription model over, it's going to be more for you.
Yeah. So you want to go into the Knowledge Center. If you don't know how to get into the Knowledge Center, go to our website and you can click on Knowledge Center, log in here. You enter the Knowledge Center, go to My Account. You will see yourself here or Shadow Person. And here it says Upgrade to Platinum Membership. So that's where you want to find that. And I remember what I was going to say before is that for all of the sessions for members only, replays are available, but you do need to be a member to get access to the replays. So,
do you also, before you move on, do you also have the text message number for any member to be able to get the text messages to the Bet on Black pitches?
Well, whenever you become a member, what we do is we upload your number into our system, so that way people who are not members are not getting the text messages. So
you want to be sure to opt into that, because we send 2 text messages on Tuesday evenings, right? One comes like 8 minutes before, right? So it gives you time to get a beverage and log in. And then one comes is 30 minutes before or an hour before?
An hour before.
So that's just a nice reminder. Actually, the hour before reminder I like, because then I start getting myself ready as well. So I really like that one.
Yes. Okay. So tonight's conversation is all about something called the Form C. And it was interesting because one of our most active members on Friday said, I don't know what that is. So we know that tonight's session is going to be very important. It may not be the most glitzy, glamoury thing that we have to talk about, but when it comes time for us to be investors, and it's important for us to not just be investors, but for us to be informed and to grow in our sophistication as investors. This is an important topic. So, Tawana, what is the Form C, first of all?
So the Form C is very simple. It is the required legal document that the SEC asked the entrepreneur for, or the issuer is what the entrepreneur is called in equity crowdfunding world. The SEC requires the issuer to complete this document to make certain disclosures, right? It gives information about their company and the company's ownership. It gives information about the financial disclosures. It also gives information about the terms of the deal. It gives information about the type of deal, right? It also gives information about the agreement the issuer has with the portal that they are on. So it'll tell how much they're paying the portal, if the portal's getting any equity, and every portal's payment structure is different. It also tells how many shares are up for offer if it's a deal that requires or that includes shares. And so it's a very helpful document. I think of it as a disclosure more than anything else. The big part of a Form C is that it is the document that must be filed before an issuer can receive our funds as crowdfunding investors. So for those of you who have been around with us and you have experienced some of the different phases that a company has been in by the time we bring them to you, sometimes they're in testing the waters phase. Testing the waters phase means they're simply feeling out the target audience, right? We think we've got a great product, but we're going to bring it to market. We're going to give you a taste of it, let you see it. But because we haven't yet filed our Form C, you can't yet invest in it. But what you can do is you can reserve your seat to invest once we file the Form C. So it is that legitimacy document, right, that says that the SEC has approved and checked all of their boxes based on their requirements for an issuer before their campaign can start to accept funds.
So, two additional questions. The first one is, you mentioned test the waters. Are there any other times where an equity crowdfunding founder or company would not have a Form C? And this isn't a trick question if the answer is no.
I'm thinking there's never a time where they won't have a Form C, but during COVID, there were some exceptions that the SEC made. So typically, in order for you to get your SEC check mark, right, and get the Form C finalized, you would have to have a certain amount of audited financials depending on the amount of money you want to raise, right? So if you're trying to raise the maximum $5 million, you need to have 2 years of audited financials, and audited financials has to be done by like a CPA who has the authority to handle audits. It's not just your P&L or your balance sheet. These are audited financials. So that's a whole nother level of financial analysis. But during COVID, the SEC made some exceptions, right? Because there was a shortage on time and resources and all of those things, they waived a few of their requirements. So while the form is going to always be required under today's law, different things that happen in the world may permit them to make exceptions to some of the requirements.
I must be like suffering from something because I forgot the other question, and it was a good one too. So
Girl, you're
Back.
not suffering from anything but living. That happens as we live each day. We start to forget a little more. That's okay. It'll pop
Yeah,
back in there.
this is the second thing I've forgotten today's session. As you were talking before, I should have written it down. I usually do. So now I got my notebook here and I'll be better with that. Okay, so tonight's session, we're actually going to go through two Form Cs that um, two of our Bet on Black Pitch founders have filed. So what I'm going to do here is actually open up a brand new, I use the Brave browser, but you can use any browser that you want to get here. So the first company we're going to look at is a Blue A, right? And what happens when we send you the links is we send you a 10K project link. So it's going to be the10kproject.com. And this one I just so happen to know is Blue A. Tawana, tell everyone why we send them a custom link, please.
Yeah, so the custom link is helpful for us to be able to report back to the founders, approximately how many eyes we've sent to the campaign. The big thing for founders, and one of the core reasons the 10K project exists, is that these founders have struggled to raise the money that they need. And even though equity crowdfunding and the Jobs Act allows them to get a step closer to that, people still have to know they exist in order for the campaign to be successful. And so that's one of the things that 10K does for a founder is we bring part of their crowd to their campaign, right? Helping them get eyes on the campaign. We don't make any guarantees of success to them, but what we do say is, we've got a community of investors. They want to invest. They also want to invest Black. And so we're bringing you to our community to wow them, right? It's up to the founder to blow you away as an investor and to share all of the amazing things they're doing in the current state, as well as what they have planned down the line. And so we create this custom link just so that we can help them a little bit be able to determine, did they get a return on their investment with 10K Project?
Thank you. We always just like to let people know why we're doing things, because there's usually method to the madness. So, so as much as you can, click on the 10K project link, so that way Tawana can report, how many people have actually used that link in order to go view the campaign. So this is a Blue A corporation. This is campaign happens to be on Republic. As many of you know, there are a bunch of different, there are close to 70 different crowdfunding portals out there. Each of them has a slightly different structure of how the campaign page is laid out. However, I would say pretty much all of them that I've seen still have the same information. They just have it structurally laid out differently. So with Republic here, you're able to see how much has been raised, how many investors, how many days left, her campaign video here, and all sorts of information here, and the invest button. If you come down here, on the right-hand side, you see documents and you see Form C, sec.gov. So I'm going to click on that. And it takes us to this place called Edgar within the SEC. And if I go down here, I get to see Form C and it says offering statement,
and
filing date.
Before you click there, Cherie, sometimes there'll be multiple documents listed here. A lot of times they may have made addendums or corrections to a Form C or changed. The way the reg is written is if you change, or if you make a substantial change to your campaign or to your business, you have to refile the Form C. So a lot of times you'll see a lot of documents here. It's always the top one that's the most current.
Yeah. And we can also see the filing date here in order to see what is the latest form that has been filed. So for Robin, it is November 30th, 2021. And if I click offering statement here, then the Form C for everybody looks like this. So once you get to this page, it's pretty standard for everybody. The filer CIK, this is a number that the SEC gives. This is always blotted out with X's that I've seen. Is this a live or a test filing? I've always seen it as live. I'm sure if the person is still figuring out what they're doing, it's in test mode, but I've always seen it as live. And then there are sometimes, I haven't seen any information in here with the submission contact form or contact information, but
It's filled out oftentimes, but not most times.
Okay.
That same contact information though is further down.
Yes, and I do know that there's some contact information further down. So that's where I usually look myself. So now you're in the issuer information, and this is where you're able to start getting some of the information when you're doing something called due diligence. Due diligence is a fancy term for research. This is where you come to get your basic information for the research. So the issuer name is Blue A Corp. So let's say you want to look at all the press releases, or you want to look at any news or any reviews, you're able to put this into Google and see what information comes up, right?
And that's an important point, Cherie, because sometimes we're investing in a certain project that the company has, and they may, on the campaign page, it may just be the name of that division or of that product, right? It may not be the whole corporation. So this is a great place for you to find who's behind this.
Right. The next thing you're looking at here is the legal status of the issuer. So they have an official corporation here. So sometimes you'll see LLC. Most of the time, I believe you'll see corporation based on how equity crowdfunding works. The jurisdiction of incorporation and organization, so Delaware, a lot of companies have Delaware status. Date of incorporation is 2006. So some of you, based on your portfolios, may want companies that are currently generating revenue and are above a certain age in order for you to invest. Every investor is a little bit different, The physical address of the issuer. So where is this company located? You're able to see this information as well. Again, as you're doing your due diligence, you're able to, if you decide you want to put that in order to verify this information, you're able to do so. Also, if you're not able to just Google and find the website, this is the place to do that here. So and then, is there a co-issuer? The answer is no. So, Tawana, do you know what a co-issuer is?
Yes. So a good example is if Cherie and I ever did an equity crowdfunding campaign, we would check yes, right? Because we are co-owners of this business. I've also seen where they put the percentage of ownership. I don't see that all the time, but they'll co-issuer will be checked yes. And then they'll have the percentage of ownership that this particular issuer who signed the form has.
Right. So the intermediary through which the offering is conducted. So this says Open Deal Portal, which is Republic.
It's Republic's legal name. Yeah, they do business under Republic, but that's their legal name.
Yeah. So other times you'll see WeFunder or hopefully Crowdwall Street, which is coming in the next couple of weeks, things like that. And then their commission file number. So if you wanted to check out Republic, AKA Open Deal Portal, you can, Here is some information about the amount of compensation to be paid to the intermediary. So for every dollar that we're investing, the issuer shall pay a fee of 6% of the amount raised in the offering to the intermediary. This may be something you want to know, like how much are they actually paying out for every dollar that's raised? Stop me whenever, Tawana.
I'll just say here, it varies, right? So Cherie mentioned that there's almost 70 portals out there. They all have their own fee structure, right? And so you'll see 6%, 6.5%, 7%, 5%. It definitely does vary. There are some times you will see nothing here because for whatever reason, that portal has waived their fees for that particular issuer. So if you are a future issuer, remember that I said that when you're negotiating with your portal, because I have seen it with my own eyes.
Yeah, I've seen that once. Next is any other financial interest in the issuer held by the intermediary or any other arrangement for the intermediary to acquire such interest. So it says here that the intermediary will also receive compensation in the form of two securities equal to 2%, in the form of securities equal to 2% of the total number of securities sold in the offering. Doesn't make this necessarily good or bad, but this is a disclosure that you want to know and you want to see. Types of security offered is other. So, and then we're specifying here the types of security. This is a crowd safe. SAFE stands for Simple Agreement for Future Equity. And actually, because we've had so many SAFEs come on unfortunately, we can't do it in May. It's going to have to be in June. In June, we're going to do a whole session on safes. What safes really mean, how people are making money with safes, why entrepreneurs are choosing safes, why that is beneficial potentially to us as investors, things like that. So I came across a couple of great videos that Tawana got to watch I think yesterday was when you were watching them. So we have some really good information with regards to that. But here you're able to see that this is a safe that Robin is doing. She is putting out 25,000 securities, and she's got a price of $1, but she's saying that the method is arbitrary. So the target offering amount is 25,000, but she's willing to go to a maximum of 1,007,000.
Yeah, so let's talk about that for a minute.
Yes.
So her minimum raise. So remember, we've talked before about the fact that these campaigns have a minimum goal, right? That they set, and if they don't meet their minimum, then they don't get any of the monies, right? Robin Wilson of Blue Egg Corporation has set her minimum raise at $25,000. So because when you saw the campaign page come up, she was over 80,000 raised. She has met her minimum. So for anyone who has invested in this campaign, her meeting her minimum goal makes the campaign official, right? You are officially now an investor and she can collect those dollars. But her maximum is $1,070,000. So remember, the overall maximum for the Jobs Act is $5 million. If you meet certain criteria, right? The audited financials is one of those criteria. And then how much money do I need, right? That's the other part of it. Everybody doesn't try to raise $5 million because everybody doesn't need $5 million. And so Robin's saying that she would love to raise $1,070,000 as her maximum. And she's provided the legal and financial documentation to the SEC to be able to do that.
And oversubscriptions, she says yes. So with oversubscriptions, that means that if people want to fund more, they're able to do so. If yes, disclose how oversubscriptions will be allocated. She has other provide a description at the intermediary's discretion. Right. So basically, it would be based on how we funder decides that oversubscription would be the oversubscription would be allocated. Yeah. And one of the great things about all of these portals is I haven't found any yet that haven't done a good job of communication. They will email you. They're not going to hunt you down. They will email you and say, this is what we're doing with this specific campaign. So you kind of have to look at your emails in order to see the correspondence coming from the portals. So deadline to reach target offering amount, we have here 4/30/22. So
That's
if
the
you were
end of
looking,
her campaign date. As you saw, it was 19 days left in her campaign. If for many campaigns, their Form C covers a 12-month period, right? And so depending on when their campaign starts and stops, sometimes they're able to extend. In Robin's situation, I happen to know that she is not going to extend because her campaign, her Form C was filed and her clock was ticking away before her campaign went live, right? Sometimes the campaign will be out there and testing the waters, the Form C files, and then your 12-month clock starts. And so you may say, oh, I'm only going to do 90 days for this campaign. And then you get to 89 days and you realize, oh, I'm making so much momentum, right? Or I've got 5 more sessions with communities to raise more money. I'm going to extend. Well, in those situations, you can, because your campaign hasn't been live for 12 months with your Form C filed. But in other campaigns, they've had their Form C filed early, but maybe the campaign wasn't ready to be presented yet to the community. And so they are not able to do extensions unless they do another set of audited financials. And audited financials cost several $1,000s to do. So a lot of times the campaigns have to weigh the odds. Do I pay a CPA that does the audit another $3 or $4 grand, right, to maybe raise, I don't know, right? Because it's unknown. So a lot of times founders will decide, they just can't extend. In Robin's situation, again, I happen to know she more than likely will not be extending this campaign.
so then let's look a little bit at the annual report disclosure requirements. So this is where we can see a little bit more about the money and the financials here. So current number of employees is 1 right now, right? Total assets most recent fiscal year end. So, assets are things like cash, money that's in securities, inventory is included in assets, things like that. So right now, Robin has when this was filed, I should say.
Right,
When
right.
this was filed, yes, when this was filed in November, so that's why it's important to know the date that it was filed, $233,366 in most recent fiscal year end. Then the prior to that was 209,641. So what this tells me is she kind of keeps her assets stable, right? Cash and cash equivalents, most recent fiscal year end is 3,211, and then prior fiscal year end is $1,243. Accounts receivable, she has 0 for both. Accounts receivable is who owes you money, okay? Short-term debt. So she had $397,000 in short-term debt, her most recent fiscal year end, and $395,000 short-term debt in the year prior. Okay, short-term debt is usually what's due within the next 12 months. Her long-term debt is 0. So long-term debt is anything that is owed beyond 12 months. Revenue/sales most recent fiscal year end. So she made $134,866. And then the prior fiscal year end, she was at 39,000. So she's increased 3 times from this prior fiscal year end to the most recent fiscal year end. The cost of goods sold for her would be her inventory. So it basically is whatever amount of money it takes to deliver that product or service is in cost of goods sold. So most recent fiscal year end, it's 66,000. And prior to that, it was $2,281. Taxes paid, 0 for both of these years. Net income, so you're able to see that she was positive. I've seen plenty of these that were negative with regards to net income, but Robin is running a, what do you call it, a profitable business, at least with regards to the most recent fiscal year end at $21,000 positive, and the prior fiscal year end at 16,000 positive.
And if we could talk about those dates again, the date on this Form C was November of 2021, I believe, right? And
Yes.
so when you think about and we don't know when her fiscal year is, right? We don't know
Right.
what her days of her
It
fiscal
doesn't
year.
say it on here.
But
Yeah.
sometimes, so you could be looking at a Form C's financials that are really covering 19 and 20, right? 2019, 2020, right? So keep that in mind, even though this Form C was filed in 21, these could be financials from 19 and 20. So when we talk about due diligence, what I do is I absolutely look at this because this gives me the past, but then normally their pitch deck or the campaign page will give you more current financials. Right. So you kind of tell the story is told when you put all the information together when you're doing due diligence.
And I apologize for my microphone going from high to low. I will get a new microphone this week because I think it's been doing it the last couple of weeks. So I apologize. Okay, so next thing that this is saying to us is what jurisdictions will this issuer sell their securities? This is important because sometimes people will only do like a statewide equity crowdfunding campaign. Those are options for certain entrepreneurs. And there are various reasons why they may want to just do statewide. But if you see pretty much all the states here, then it's basically across the nation. I've never seen it where it would be like 10 states and no more. Like I've only seen like one state or all 50. Maybe Tawana has seen it a different way.
I've only seen it where one state was missing and I had to send the issuer an email and say, did you know your Form C was missing? And so I'm surprised it definitely was a typo. They didn't mean one. Why would you leave one state out, right? Definitely was a mistake, but it was filed that way. So they had to go back to the SEC and fix it.
Final thing, the signature here. So you have the issuer, Blue Wave Corp, Robin Wilson. So if you're asking yourself who's responsible for this, the signature of the individual is here, as well as the title of their company. So when you're doing your due diligence, you want to also look up not only the company, but the person who has filed this and who is in charge. Okay. And it also says that Robin Wilson is the director. And you have Nora Ryan here, who is also a director. It means they're an officer of the company. James Offutt is also a director, and Charlene Jackson. So again, as you're doing your due diligence, you're asking yourself who's behind the team, things like that. The SEC requires this information, and this is how you can do, at least start your due diligence. Between here and the campaign page, you should have a lot of the information that you need in order to do the due diligence to make sure something you want to add to your portfolio.
And I'll just add here that the people that are listed here are typically people who have a percentage of share in the company, right? These are also the people who the bad actor check is done on. So in order to have a campaign successfully set up, you have to have an escrow company. The escrow company does bad actor checks on everyone associated with this business. And it would be these people listed on the Form C. And what a bad actor check is, they do a detailed background check to make sure that they're above board, that they haven't broken any kind of financial crimes and all of those things. So, this is one of the reasons why Cherie and I always say how we love kind of being under the safety umbrella of the SEC oversight, right? We've had founders come to us and they're raising money outside of equity crowdfunding, and they are legitimate businesses, right? Legitimately needing capital. But it's something about having the oversight of the SEC that gives us an extra level of comfort. Doesn't mean that one day we won't venture out and maybe make some other offerings, but right now, this is a good place for us to be, because the SEC and the escrow companies are doing some of the verifications for us. Does not eliminate the need for us to do our own due diligence as potential investors, but this is just another layer of a verification that is being done.
Yes. Okay, let's do another one then, just to show you that all of this stuff ends up looking the same. So we have another Bet on Black pitch founder. So we're going to do the10kproject.com/care mobile.
And while Cherie's pulling that one up, I just want to say you guys are getting a little bit of a peek, right? For those of you who are not members, we're giving you a peek into two companies that we actually had on our Bet on Black pitches. Being able to see their campaign page is very helpful. It is nothing like seeing the actual pitch, right? A good example is on the campaign we just saw. Her campaign video says nothing about another very special component about her deal that allows investors something extra. But we wanted to present real campaigns that we have backed and that most of our community has seen.
So this is WeFunder. WeFunder is another equity crowdfunding platform, and this is Care Mobile. And again, all of the campaign pages usually have some sort of an investor video. It has information about the campaigns, things like that. But as you can see on the right-hand side, if I were to go down, I guess it's hard for me to even go down here. WeFunder drives me a little crazy, but the Form C is not underneath here for whatever reason.
Every campaign, every portal is very different. So if you go to the details tab on WeFunder, and then go to the very bottom.
Okay.
Right there. Then you click on that official Form C link, and that's where theirs are housed. The good news is with all of the portals, the Form C is always in the same place on that portal. It's just portal to portal, they're all over the place. But once you become familiar with the portal, they are in the same place each time.
So again, we're taken to the SEC website, right? Form C offering statement. The filing date for them was February 1st, 2022, same date as the accepted date. And here you actually have information about the business here, including the state of incorporation, which is Delaware, the fiscal year end, which is December 31st. So on this one, we're able to see the fiscal year end here. IRS number, it looks like their tax ID number is here. So you're able to really check them out. And their business address, you can see they're in Louisville, Kentucky. You've got a phone number here, and you've got a mailing address. And then if we come here, I'm going to go to this here, then this is what we saw from before. So we're going to do this a lot faster. You've got your CIK number, which is again the SEC's number that they give out, unique ID. You can see that this is a live Form C. The company name, Care Mobile. You've got the corporation, which is in Delaware. The date of incorporation is 2017. You have the address. You have the website. Is there a co-issuer? The answer is yes, there is a co-issuer. If yes, specify the following for the co-issuer. The name of the co-issuer here is Care Mobile One, a series of WeFunder SPV LLC. So you're able to look at that there. Legal status of the co-issuer, they are an LLC in Delaware with an incorporation date of 2/1/2022. Now, if I'm correct, this is a special purpose vehicle.
Correct.
which is interesting.
Well, I can give you a little information about that. So one of Care Mobile's, so Care Mobile was part of a program, that funded Black businesses. They also helped them because of a relationship that program had with WeFunder, right? They also helped some of their founders get on equity crowdfunding campaigns with different terms than the rest. So you're going to see some different things, I believe, in Care Mobiles as it relates to fees, because they came to WeFunder as part of this referral program that WeFunder has with some VCs and funds.
Thanks for that explanation as well. So, and I will say this, if ever you see something, well, I'll ask Tawana this, but I believe it's true. If you see something on the Form C that you don't understand, you can go to the Q&A section of the campaign and ask a question here. And you can ask them the questions. We suggest you ask them the questions here versus going through email because of legalities for them. If they respond to you by email, they may end up in a bit of trouble. So the best way to do it is to ask them questions here and they are able to respond.
And just on that page Cherie was just on, Render Capital is the VC firm or fund that referred Care Mobile to go through WeFunder for their equity crowdfunding campaign. Render is a great company here in Louisville, Kentucky that helps support founders that live in Kentucky and Indiana. And they fund them with some startup capital. So great company. Patrick's awesome. I got to meet them when I found this campaign. Yeah. So.
And it also said down there, I don't know why this thing is not, well, anyway, it said that it said the amount that lead investor had given to this campaign in the previous campaign. Okay, so the physical address of the co-issuer is here. This is WeFunder's address. Intermediary through which the offering is conducted, WeFunder Portal LLC. So remember when we did Republic, they didn't name it Republic Portal. They named it Open Deal. But this one, you're able to at least see that is the name of the intermediary. Next thing you see here, the amount of compensation to be paid to the intermediary. So they say here 6.5% of the offering amount upon a successful fundraise and be entitled to reimbursement for out-of-pocket third-party expenses it pays or incurs on behalf of the issuer in connection with the offering. So you're able to read that there. Does any other financial interest in the issuer held by the intermediary? The answer is no.
And this is where we saw before on the other campaign, we saw 2% equity. So you can see from campaign to campaign, it's going to be different. And from portal to portal, it's going to be different because these terms are negotiated.
Type of security offered is other. They are offering a convertible note. So that's important to know. And we are over the next several months going to go through these different types of vehicles kind of in depth during these sessions. So target number of securities to be offered is 50,000. The price is $1. They don't have anything here about the determining price method. Before, Robin said arbitrary. Care Mobile doesn't have anything here. The target offering amount is 50,000 and the maximum is 200,000. And oversubscriptions are going to be accepted as determined by the issuer. So before I thought we saw in Robin's as determined by the intermediary.
It did, yes.
And this time we see as determined by the issuer how the oversubscriptions are going to be dealt with. So again, all of these are different. You're able to ask questions in the Q&A. Every portal has a Q&A. So if you have questions based on what you see on the SEC, go and ask in the Q&A. Deadline to reach the offering is another 4/30/2022. So you only have a few days left here. The annual report information, now they have 10 employees. So Robin only had one, they have 10. Some of you, that may be important to know that, there are more employees on the payroll. Total assets, most recent fiscal year. So again, we saw here that we know that their fiscal year end is December 31st. And we know when this was filed on February 1st. So most recent fiscal year end would be last year. Okay. So they had 613,104 in assets. The prior fiscal year end was 281,385. So they've tripled in assets in a year. Okay. The cash and cash equivalents, 44,000. And the most recent fiscal year end prior to that was 14,000. AR, they do have AR. So this tells you when we talk about assets, the majority of their assets is in accounts receivable. Okay. Short-term debt.
And can I just add something there?
Yeah, sure.
The type of business will also dictate this to some extent, right? This is a mobile dentist company. And so you can imagine there are outstanding claims, right? When you think about healthcare and all of that. So sometimes account receivable is going to make sense. Sometimes it's going to be what's going on here? And then sometimes you're going to smile when you see it, right? So it'll be a different reaction. But again, that coupled with the campaign page tells the whole story.
Yes, and you're always, again, able to ask questions. You go to Q&A. Hey, I see on your Form C, you have X amount of dollars in AR. Can you explain that to me? I'm just trying to figure this whole thing out. And one of their team members should be able to explain that to you. Next is short-term debt is 159,000. Prior year 117. You have your long-term debt. I'm not going to read all of these numbers because we kind of get it, right? The revenue and sales. So this is important for some people. They want to know that they're investing in a business that is generating revenue. So last year they did 656,000. The year before they did 281. So again, we're seeing a tripling of their business with regards to revenues, right? You have your cost of goods sold, which makes sense for this type of business because they have inventory and all sorts of stuff, on the trucks. Taxes paid, the prior year, none. Last year, $8,800. So before I mentioned the fact that I had seen some negative incomes, they had a net loss last year. Of 79,000. The year before they had a net loss of 91,000. So this, from an accounting point of view, is actually good because they made more revenue last year. And even though they had a loss, they had less of a loss.
And remember, they still have accounts receivables they're waiting for also.
Yeah.
And the way healthcare works is some of that revenue may not be paid until this year, even though it's for last year's claims.
Yes. Next, again, all the jurisdictions that this is sold in. Then we have here the people, right? So Care Mobile Inc., Watson, who is the CEO. You also have Michael Kelly, who is an officer. And again, you have Quan, who is the CEO here, signing this. So that is how you review the Form C. Oh, Sandra's saying great information. I'm so glad. I hope everyone, got more insights. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it's not the most glamorous topic, but again, we want to just make you more sophisticated investors. And once a month, every second Monday of the month, we're going to do a longer form education with regards to some aspect of the campaign. So all the stuff you're hearing on Tuesdays, we're hoping that these lessons kind of bring it together for you so that you're like, oh, now I get it. And we're finished at 7:01,
Oh,
which
wow,
when we
that's
usually,
awesome.
yeah, we usually have a guest. We usually don't get to finish that fast. But Tawana, who is our bet on Black pitch? Um,
So,
well,
you know, I never say who, but I
never
will
say.
say, I never say who. But I will say it's a tech company. And the coolest thing about this, I don't say coolest because that's unfair to him, right? One of the cool things that I thought about this company was they solve a big problem that technology itself creates. So I'll say that. So technology itself solves a bunch of problems, right? But it also creates some problems. This company solves a problem that technology creates. You want to
All
know
right,
more, you know where you're going to find me tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern
8
Standard Time.
p.m. And if you all know, if you're not able to attend live, don't worry about it. We send the replays multiple times. So you'll be able to catch the replay. You'll be able to click on the campaign links, but you can't do that if you're not a member. And don't forget, for those who came in late, the structure of membership is changing from a one-time payment to a subscription payment. Okay, so you want to keep that in mind. Your family and friends, if they've been on the fence, now it's time to pull them over. I will be sending out reminders and things like that, really publicizing it. And we're going to be doing that as well on our social media pages. So, you know, as long as you're tuned into your email or your socials, then you should see it, and we'll work on a countdown clock.
Wonderful. And if you haven't had time to, if you're members or not members, right? Because we shared it with you. If you hadn't had time to see those campaigns that we just highlighted, you know, they are both ending on the 30th of the month. So if you want to take some time and look at those in detail and decide if they fit in your portfolio, for those of you who are not yet members, you just got a free look into what Black excellence looks like in the form of campaigns. These are two of the founders that have pitched with us and did amazing presentations, both of them. And so we wanted to use our real cases to show you this education. And we selected two that are ending soon. So for all of my founders who are members who are going to say, how come you didn't pick my campaign, Tawana? Because those are ending soon. And we knew we only had time for two. We will show you some love when we do some of the other training. so that is my answer to any of my founders who are looking at this.
Yeah. Now, founders, y'all know I sent you an email saying if you want to send updates, you can send updates, video updates, 5 minutes or less. We'll put them in the rotation for the emails. Sharnetta is asking the question of the night. Excellent question. Is the new subscription format for current members or for new members only?
Just for new. If
Only.
you've been riding with us from the beginning and you paid $100 or $347, then you good to go for life, right? You paid a one-time for life and we riding with you back for life. But
Yes.
if you are new, then you will have the new subscription fee format.
So Valerie is asking what is, and I see your question, Ebert, in YouTube as well. I will answer that too. Valerie is asking, what is the total amount for the one-time payment and what does one-time payment offer members? Well, I'm so glad you asked. Let me go back here to this here. So, Tawana, you usually do this. You want me to do it really quickly?
Yeah, I'll go over quickly. So Valerie, right now, the two packages we offer is a gold membership package and a platinum. The gold currently is $100 one-time lifetime fee. You get access to the Bet on Black pitches. What that is the Form C we just went over for that company. We bring that company in front of our members only. We don't share that company with our Facebook group. We bring that company in front of our members and they do a Bet on Black presentation where they tell you all about them and you get to ask them questions. We do that via Zoom. You also get access to all of the wealth building, educational, expert webinars that we do. So that's access to all of the guests we bring to talk about the amazing things they're doing in the wealth building space. That's educational sessions like this. And then anything special that we have, special access to business buying masterminds, or how to buy a lien, how to invest in hotels, all of those special things that we do that are members only. You also get access to the expert directory. That's a directory within our system that allows you to put whatever your skill set is. If you have a business, you can put that there. If you sell any kind of goods or services, if you are just amazing at something, and we all are amazing at something, you get to put that something in the expert directory with your contact information. If you join with the platinum membership, you get everything. The gold membership includes, in addition to 6 months of financial planning, we've partnered with a Black-owned financial planning firm, Freeman Capital, to offer 6-month financial planning to all of our members who elect the platinum membership. And you enroll by joining us at the10kproject.com, the10kproject.com.
Perfect. I see in the Q&A here, what if you are unable to attend the financial class but interested in the class? So all of our webinars, we have replays. There also, all of our webinars are in the Knowledge Center as well. So don't worry if you can't attend something, you will get the replay. Okay, Carlos is asking, do you recommend founders patent their tech before crowdfunding? That is a question for an attorney. That's a question for an attorney. So Angela's saying for life, baby.
And Carlos, the non-attorney answer is it depends.
Yep.
So you gotta tell the attorney all the things so that they can tell you what it depends on. But it depends. I've heard reasons why you should and shouldn't. You said you had a question in YouTube?
Yes. Yeah, Ebert here in YouTube. If one starts with the initial membership, can it be upgraded to the higher tier? I'm so glad you asked. I couldn't have asked better questions. Let's go back here to, I'm going to share my screen here. The Knowledge Center. When you get into the Knowledge Center, you click on My Account. You'll see the photo here, all of your information. Where it says upgrade to platinum membership, that is what you want to select. So if you're already a gold member, you come into My Account, upgrade to platinum membership, you click that. It will only charge you the difference between the platinum membership and the gold membership. So you will not be charged, the whole thing. You're just going to be charged the difference of $247.
And that's how it is today, right? When you go from for life to for life, it's only charging you the difference. But when you go from subscription to for life, you will be charged the entire $347. Just want to make that clear. I don't want anyone to get confused. But in the future, if you go from subscription-based package to a one-time fee package, you will be charged the one-time fee in its entirety. If you go from a one-time fee package to a one-time fee package, that's the difference. Hope that's a good way to explain it.
Okay. I think that is all of the questions. We have people here saying they're lifers. Valerie's saying, thank you so very much for that information, but can you pay via PayPal? Yeah, I think we still have PayPal as an option. So yes. We had Robert saying 10K worth its weight in gold. Sheree and Tawana, thank you so much for all you do. Love y'all. Well, we love you back, Robert. All righty then. So we are able to let everyone go. Thank you so much for being here, and we will see you tomorrow night, 6 p.m. If you want to learn how to buy and protect your crypto, 6 p.m. tomorrow. Check your emails for the Zoom link. And then, of course, the Bet on Black pitch tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Okay? Thank you, Tawana. Thanks, everybody.